Steeler Nation, and welcome to Stryker's Inside Slant. Where do we find ourselves now after a while? Back at the top of the AFC North after a horrible performance against San Francisco week 1. After an offensive performance week 2 against Cleveland, defense finding a way to win the game for us. And then finally putting a decent game together on the road with a strong Steeler away crowd, a crowd that looked at least 50-50. Kenny Pickett knows how to beat the Raiders, which is a big change from Ben Roethlisberger being 3-8 against the Raiders in his lifetime, having real trouble finding out ways to even beat the Raiders no matter how bad they were. But Kenny Pickett seems to do very well against the Raiders, especially when those games are primetime games. Big one on the 50th anniversary for the Immaculate Reception last year. And, of course, this past week, throwing his first multiple touchdown game of his career. That's what I've been harping on him about. Stryker, is Kenny Pickett a good quarterback? Is Kenny Pickett the heir apparent? Is he the next guy? I want to see incremental progression. I want to see if this guy can throw 2 touchdowns in a game. I don't know if he can. I hadn't seen him do it yet until last week. Now I want to see him throw 3. Let's go, Kenny. Keep on going. Loved him being able to hit Austin deep on that touchdown. Beautiful touch pass down the seam in the center. That's 2 games in a row. We have 70-plus touchdowns. 2 weeks ago, the big and only real offensive play coming to George Pickens on 71 yards. So maybe this week, after a 71-yarder to Pickens and a 72-yarder to Austin, maybe this week we'll get a 73-yarder to Robinson or Freiermuth. We'll have to see. We'll have to see if that trend continues. Keep getting 1 extra yard every game. Guys, this is your show. Ask questions. Give your comments. I'm here for you. Finally figured out how to get Facebook back online. Finally figured out how to get Twitter back online because now I'm logged into the right spot. So we, of course, had YouTube going for a while. We know our YouTube heads are always going to be here because we are always talking about it over at SteelerNation.com. Eric, I know we all want to fire Canada. I'm still not happy with them, but at least last week, before I move on, I want to say one thing about Matt Canada that I did like last game, and that was moving the pocket when Kenny was getting too much pressure, all these 3-and-outs. We started shifting the pocket, getting Kenny on the edge, letting him throw down the field with his athleticism. Worked out well. That's one aspect where Canada did change the offense to help out Kenny Pickett. 4 straight scoring drives in the third quarter, going to the fourth. So I can't be too upset about that. Build on it. We want more touchdowns than field goals, but damn it, Boz, 57 yards? 57 freaking yards? Ravens wouldn't even let their kicker kick 57 yards in overtime. And he's the best ever. Something's wrong with the Ravens. I don't know if it's the long snapper or if it's with Justin Tucker, who is the best kicker ever. But wouldn't even let him kick that one in overtime, and they ended up losing the game to the Colts. Guys, your show going over to you. Miles, always starting off the show. Hello, love. Hello, Miles. Calvin Austin's first touchdown. Yeah, that's got to be something that Deontay Johnson's like, well, there goes my touchdown. Still waiting for his first touchdown in 2 years. Hi-ho, neighbor. How you doing there, Robert? Always good to hear from you, my friend. Ciao, Dad. Good to finally see the Steelers put together a decent game. Yeah, that one was even never in doubt. I jumped on the air afterward. I know they ended up kicking a field goal instead of going for the touchdown there, but guys, they don't get that. It's a 4th and 4. They don't get it. Game's over. They kicked the field goal. They kept it within a score. Give them a shot to get the ball back. All intents and purposes, they were getting the ball back for good clips. But Steelers put together a good drive, got 1 first down, ate a lot of clock, gave the ball, should have been 20 seconds left. Excellent punt by Presley Harvin III. That ball was spinning, popped out of his hands. Steelers almost ended that game on a punt fumble recovery, or punt return fumble recovery, a muff punt recovery, but closed it out in good fashion. They only had 12 seconds left to go 83 yards. Could not do it. Game was not in doubt. Honestly, was not in doubt. With that defense, the way we pay our defense, if anybody thought we can't stop them in 12 seconds, with this defense from getting a touchdown, you don't know the Pittsburgh Steelers. But another great game and a great way to put it up. Honey Project, what's up? Good to hear from you. Let us know if you have any questions, honey. Matt Canada still needs to step it up. Yes, he does. I want to see more improvement out of Matt Canada. We got some last week, more intense blocking, moving the pocket. We're getting there. But it's still, I agree. We need improvement. Tumburo, first question. Why did you end the last show and also mentioning another show before that and the people could find me on the other Steeler Nation blog thing or whatever, which I've never been on ever? Okay. If you've never been over there, that's fine. I thought you were a poster over there called Coach. I get along with him fine over there. A lot of the site doesn't like his counter arguments. You have a lot of great arguments, which are counter than a lot of the Steeler Nation and what they think. But I think it's important to know all of the arguments from all Steeler fans. So that's why I thought you were over there. If it's not you, no biggie. We just thought it was you. Miles, TJ cemented himself as defensive player of the year and is on track for 34 sacks. Yes, he is. He absolutely is, which is insane. Insane. I agree with you that we should, could and should pick Gentry up from the Bengals practice squad, at least put them on our practice squad, but he might be under 53 by now. No, he's not on their 53 yet. We cannot put him on our practice squad since he's practice squadded. He would have to be rostered for us to get Gentry back. Really, the only way I can see us snagging and poaching him back from the Bengals is if we have an injury to a tight end. That's the only way I see him coming back to this team because Steelers want to keep that extra wide receiver for some reason. I don't know why. Zach from Steeler Nation here. Zach! Hey, baby! Forgot I was on my wife's account, my wife's music account. Oh, that's awesome. Well, go check out the Honey Project, guys. Evidently, it's good music. Zach will speak up for it. What style of music is it there, Zach? But glad to have you over here on the show. I saw you pop up last week. I didn't know it was you. So anybody from Steeler Nation, throw up your handle. I love to know who I'm speaking with and stuff here. We know Slash shows up. We know Robert C. Cooley Man shows up a lot. Chow Chow Dad, of course. We got some good heads over here. To bring up a fast quarterback from the practice squad and also add chicken treat to me and removing two guys from the current practice squad. We both agree one should be Gunner. I don't like Gunner. I'm with you on that. I agree. I think Gunner's time is past. Gunner is Switzer. Doesn't really give us anything that we don't already get with the players we already have on this roster. Like there's no he'd have to play in a spot where Miles Austin or Robinson is, which I don't want him there, or have to return kicks or punts, which I don't want him to do either. Especially doing a toe tap freaking kick return if he let it bounce out of bounds. We get it on the 40. Instead, he toe taps it inside the 10. Idiot play. That was a dumb play. Bonehead play. Chow Chow Dad. Benton with his first big sack. Definitely. Good to see the rookie show up, start doing it, and start making plays for us too. Super excited with Benton starting to show that he can play in this league. Yeah, Michelle Liberty, thanks for the hearts. Going over to Instagram. Guys, we're on 4 platforms tonight. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. We might as well lose to the Texans. We might lose to the Texans. Could happen any week. Texans just blew the crap out of Jacksonville. They're not a bad team, but Steelers are leading the league in sacks with, I believe we have 13 sacks so far this season. It's either 15 or 13. I can't remember, but we are leading the league in sacks. Just checked. Houston's let up 11 sacks this season. That plays well into our style of defense, getting pressure on the quarterback, a young quarterback, hopefully forcing him to some mistakes. He's never thrown an interception yet in his career, but Jimmy Garoppolo was not sacked before in his first 2 games before seeing us and us putting him on the ground 4 times. So this defense can change those types of statistics quickly. Sam, why don't the Steelers use Washington more often? He's in there on blocking sets, and he is a beast on blocking sets, but I am with you. I would like to see them utilize him as a pass catcher a little bit more often, especially in the red zone. Problem is, we're never in the red zone. We're getting all of our touchdowns far out. Both of them, 72-yarder. Other one was like a 26-yarder. We're not going to see Washington until we get in the red zone. We can't get in the red zone. That's a problem with Canada. But at least we're getting touchdowns now. All those field goal kicks were long. So once we start getting in the red zone, screaming for Washington, Mount Washington needs to be in there in the red zone. Michelle, why when fans start putting on more pressure? Why when the fans start putting on more pressure on wanting him out and then starts calling better plays, then goes back to his old plays? Well, at least he didn't run the jet sweep. At least he didn't run the jet sweep at the end of the game. I was expecting one. We did not run it this time. Chris, love the win, but the offensive line is such a problem. It got better last game, Chris. We went more to a downhill blocking scheme, more of a reach blocking scheme, as opposed to a zone blocking scheme and playing on our damn heels, because these linemen are not made to play on their heels. You got to play on your heels and pass blocking because that's the way it's meant to be. But run blocking, I want to see them on their toes. Last game, I got to see him on their toes. We got some good runs, some good blocks. Najee had his best game with 60 yards. We had 80-some yards rushing, I think, in that game. Still not great yet. We're getting there. Scotty, TJ a game, set a new record. That would be awesome. 34 sacks, averaging 2 a game. I am all for those numbers, and I want him to get above that Mendoza line. Let me check out the TJ sack Mendoza line as we sit today. TJ Watt, which is 1 sack per game for your career. No player's ever done it. Reggie White started off his career that way, above the 1 sack per game mark. Right now, he's played in 90 games. He has 83.5 sacks. So he is 6.5 sacks behind the Mendoza line, which means you got to average more than a sack per game moving forward to get TJ above the Mendoza line for 1 sack per game. I think he can do it. Honestly, the way he's playing this year, I'm expecting a 4 or 5 sack game out of him sometime this year. Honestly, he is that good. Absolutely is that good. Sam, what did you think of the O-line play? We just talked about that. You got that answer too, Sam. I know you guys all want to know that. So thank you so much for those questions. Mikey, we all know Canada's contract isn't going to be renewed, so why not just rip the Band-Aid off? It can't get any worse. We should have done it last season, to tell you the truth. Should have been done in the offseason. And I was talking about this on SteelerNation.com. Highly state this again. If we're going to start hiring coordinators now moving forward, I want to see it the same way the Steelers hired the GMs. When we went out, we did our due diligence for bringing in, for even retaining Omar Khan. We brought in like 20 candidates. I want to see them do that for any coordinator hire moving forward. Positional coach, I don't care. Throw in your friends. Don't give a crap. Done promoting from within. It's just not working. Defensive side working a little bit better than offensive side, but when we need a new offensive coordinator this next time, I don't want to see us just promoting somebody. Don't want to promote our quarterback's coach. Time to go out, do the due diligence, bring in lots of great candidates, lots of young candidates, lots of other possible positional players that can come in and become offensive coordinators for us. Just somebody that can think in this new generation to be able to get us out scoring 70 points a game like Miami does. That's what I want to see, and that's the only way we're going to get better on offense. Slippery when wet band, 4th and 2. You give the ball to Harris or Warren. I'm fine with either. Yeah, to tell you the truth, I don't hate either as long as we are not starting in shotgun or pistol. I am sick and tired of this team lining up in the backfield with the quarterback and not over center on 4th and short, 3rd and short. Kenny Pickett was getting us sneaks for first downs, no problem last year. This year, all of a sudden, can't figure it out. Need to do it. Put Kenny Pickett behind the center, have him pick the hole, get us the first down like he has been doing. He likes to do it. He's not Ben. Ben hated going for first downs. Unlike Tom Brady, who loved going for first downs. Hell, he'd pat the center's butt if people lined up off of him on a 4th and 5, 4th and 3, and he'd just follow 2 blockers up the field and get the first down. Smart quarterback in that respect. JSK, reunion with James Washington as 5th wide receiver. Nope, I'm done with. I was done with Washington when he played for us. he was below the line and really poor at production per play. I called him boomer bust when we first drafted him. I stated all the aspects which I did not like about him. I said he was going to have a tough time getting open in the league because he's slow to ramp up with his speed. And he was already a combat catcher in college with slower players. Guys were all over him in the pro. And he did not use his size or his boxing out ability to be able to get those balls in professional football. I want nothing to do with James Washington. Plus, he plays a position. We already have two guys that I'd rather have him there, which is Kenny Pickett's position at the Z. You're not going to play Washington over. Washington cannot play the X. Washington cannot play slot. He is strictly a Z receiver. I'd rather have Kenny Pickett on the field, and I'd rather have Miles Boykin over him too now at this point in his career. A couple more questions, guys, then I'm shooting back over to YouTube and Facebook for the questions. Give two more. Peg, thoughts on Minka's sack? Was not a penalty at all. And I was miffed because there were multiple times, even on Crosby's sack, on Kenny Pickett. Boom! Hit him in the helmet hard in the front, in the face mask. Twice I saw Kenny Pickett get hit hard in the face mask. No flags called. That is supposed to be a flag every time. I know refs are used to not calling him against the Steelers because Ben was so big and just would shake it off. But this is Kenny Concussion Pickett. He gets hit in the head. We need our quarterback protected. Our coach needs to start yelling that crap on the field first time they see it. Because this is not the same quarterback as Ben Roethlisberger. He can't shake off concussions because Ben didn't need his brains anyway. Kenny Pickett needs his brains. We need to protect that dome. Make sure he is protected. I want to see you yelling about that coward, or it's not coward, Tomlin. Last question before I shoot over. Against Houston. Yes, we are against Houston this week. He could definitely have 3+ sacks. Yes, he could, Zaz. TJ Watt could definitely have 3+ sacks against Houston. We will have to watch. Going back to Tim Burrow. Sorry, using phone voice to text. I don't know what the chicken treat was about. It just made me hungry. Dude, it's fine. You know I love your posts. Always good. What I actually said was we should bring up the fast. Yes, we did talk about that. We brought King up to the roster too, another quick cornerback who was a starter in this league. He returned kicks. I want to see him getting some rotation and actually getting some plays on defense as well. Gunner from the 53 and the other guy you'd remove. Yeah, I don't know if there's trying to think of anybody I'd remove from the roster. Gunner's definitely a guy I'd remove from the roster, but already bringing up King. We've removed guys from the roster strictly just because of injured reserve. So we got McFarland on injured reserve. We have Deontay Johnson on injured reserve. We got Cam Hayward on injured reserve. So those 3 roster spots are currently taken up by practice squad players we promoted, players we brought in. That's why Watts is on the team now too. I don't know if we brought it up full-time or just strictly for the game yet. Let me look at the roster. I got the roster right here in front of me, Stryker. Doit. Because I did a little bit of research here, at least before coming into this show. So, I just want to check out defensive tackle here quick. See if Watts. Yep, Watts is on the roster. He is rostered. He took Cameron Hayward's position. Did we bring up an extra wide receiver yet? I don't even know if we did. I think we might be sitting with 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, we brought Des Fitzpatrick. Des Fitzpatrick is on the roster. So we brought him up. And then running back, we have that extra running back, I believe, as well. Godwin, Igwebuike. So Godwin's on the squad there. 4-year player from Northwestern. Cool. So coming back over. Question. Seems like we got a couple defensive backs we don't use. Should be removed from the 53 along with Gunner to make room for the fast cornerback and Gentry. Yeah, we'll have to talk. We need a tight end to get hurt first, though. I think we're going to stick with these 6 wide receivers. No matter how good or poorly Matt Canada is, I will always hate him wearing that safari hat. Really despise him for continuing to wear that. He looks like a buffoon. That's a take. Ian, evening Stryker. Go Steelers. Great to see you, Ian, as always. Let me know what you're thinking, my friend. I'm an independent thinker living on the West Coast. Awesome. In the town of Portland. Pardon me. Portland, Oregon, I take it. With a lot of people that pretend to be independent thinkers, and you should see the shock when they actually meet me. Meet one in me. Exactly. Donnie Project, Zach, what's up? Really worried that the Houston game is shaping up to be a big trap game. Will we play down to a younger team we should beat? I don't know if there's any team we should beat this year. Finally, this is the first game it looks like we are the favorite on the Vegas line. We haven't been a favorite all season. We have a winning record. We're number one in our division, tied with Cleveland, tied with the Ravens at 2-1, second best record in all of the AFC behind only the 3-0 Dolphins. So really interesting to see how we do moving forward. What I like to see, though, Zach, is the Steelers just getting progressively better on offense each and every game. And we have been getting incrementally better on offense each and every game. If this is a full-on game where we have time and Kenny is able to show us what he can do like he did in the preseason, 5-6 scoring drives, that will be a great complete game and enough points for our defense to win this game for us. Ciao, ciao, Dad. Good to see Tomlin was cool, headed about the unplanned stop in KC. Yeah, you can't plan for life. Sometimes life throws you curveballs, and that's just the way it is. Oh. Going back over, get rid of Matt Canada. Yeah, we know that, guys. Nobody's happy. Nobody's 100% happy with the guy. Go out and get a proven offensive coordinator. Yeah, I'm fine with that too, Zaz. I think the only time we went out and got a proven offensive coordinator so far in the Tomlin era was when we went out and we got Todd Haley. Todd Haley was a proven offensive coordinator. What happened? Steelers had the highest ranking offense that they've ever had. Top 3 offense, top 5 offense. Those were the big years, 2017, 2018, big years, 2019. And then all of a sudden, we didn't like Haley anymore. Bubble screens. Bubble screen Haley. Here comes the bubble screen. Shotgun on 3rd and short. We hate Haley. Best offensive coordinator we ever had. And what have we had since him? Fiechner and frickin' Canada. You're welcome, Steeler Nation. Careful what you wish for. You just might get it. But time to start going out, getting more proven offensive coordinators. I like that take. Why not run 22 around the outside instead of the middle all the time? We do both. Just last game, he was carving up the middle pretty well. We had some pretty decent blocking last week. George Pickens headed for the 1 spot in the league. Would love to see that, Nano. Would love to see that. We've got some pretty big games out of some pretty big Miami Dolphin players last week, so it's tough to carve out the 1 spot in the league. You're very welcome there, Peg. Shemery Gary, why is Broderick not playing much? Still doesn't have to. He's a rookie. I think he's getting in on special teams. I think he's getting in on extra tackle plays. But right now, we don't have an injury with Chooks, and we don't have an injury with Moore, and that's really the only way he's going to see the field yet. Until one of those guys show they can't play above the line. Right now, they're at least playing at the line. Moore did a good job of shutting down the big 3 he's faced so far. Bosa, Garrett, Crosby got 1 sack. I think he's the only one to get a sack out of the big 3. So that's pretty damn big. And one thing he needs to get some credit for. Who's this one? JCW. Even the Steelers make the playoffs. Do you think Matt Canada will be fired? Possibly. Steelers just might want to go in a different direction. But, you know, if this offense starts humming, if this offense starts showing a lot of diversity and motion before plays that confuse the defense, if this offense starts doing personnel changes to create mismatches within our play calling against the defense, and we're firing on all cylinders at the end of the year, we're not even going to be thinking about firing Canada. But if we're still stagnant, we're still forcing our way through games, if we're still playing tight, barely getting 20 points a game, yeah, he's gone. He's gone. Thanks, Peg. Love the hearts. Hey, Teddy. Welcome to the show. 3 more guys. I'm going to go back over to the other links. Even the Steelers made the playoffs. Do you think Matt Canada will be fine? Yep, you asked that one. Yep, I got to it. Yep. Guys, I will get to your questions. You don't have to keep asking the same one. Do you think Warren is the better back? No, I don't, but I'm happy to have both. And I think this is the best 1-2 punch we've had at running back since who was that? That was Williams backing up Le'Veon Bell. That was a great, because Williams made the Pro Bowl when Bell went down that year. Had a great run. Had some great runs too with Fast Willie Parker and Bettis. But this is a legit 1-2, because Williams and Bell were a 1-2, though we utilize Bell strictly as the bell cow running back. In this situation, if you've noticed, Najee doesn't get all the carries anymore. We're not running the wheels off him anymore. We are now rotating Najee and Warren. Warren will get a drive. It seems every third drive, Warren is getting the drive, and I think that is well done. It's a great changeup. It's a new wrinkle that defenses have to get used to, because Warren has a little bit more speed. I think Najee has a little bit more power and way more moves, like short area quickness stuff. But high-end speed, Warren's got it in spades. And I can't wait for McFarland to get back, because that's another burner that we have. That is another weapon that we can have coming around, hitting the edge out of the backfield and catching passes out of the backfield. How does Deontay help the offense? Deontay Johnson, he is the engine of this offense. Deontay Johnson is a big reason why this offense looks like bunk, because he'd get 10 targets a game. He'd be catching 6 to 8 of those targets, and he'd be moving the chains. That's what Deontay Johnson is. The X receiver runs the offense in the passing game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Antonio Brown, X receiver. Hines Ward, X receiver. Guys, these are the guys that get all the targets, keep the chains moving, do all the dirty work. And Deontay Johnson does the dirty work. A lot of you guys don't like him because, he drops some footballs. Drops less than other Pro Bowl wide receivers. We're just a bit hard on him. We're a bit hard on the best route runner in the league. That's what Deontay Johnson does. Not only better than anybody else on this team, but better than anybody else in this league. His route running is elite. Absolutely elite. Good evening, NC. One more I'm going back over. He could open up the offense. Exactly. He helps to open up that offense, and he takes pressure away from Pickens' side. It makes it so Pickens is going to be one-on-one. That's what we want. That's why you want Deontay and Pickens on the field at the same time. Got to see it. Texans are weak against the run, so hopefully Najee and Warren can get going. Yes, that's probably something we're going to have to do early and often there, Robert. Robert being a hometown guy. This is Robert C. Cooley, man. The team's coming over to Houston. He's got a home game this week. Are you going to be over there in the stands waving that terrible towel as well? Cooley, I want to know. Funny when I don't want to get into any freaking politics, man. That's not happening on our show at all. Don't care about political views. We're only about Steelers here. Kenny, go Najee. There you go. Robert C. Please stop insulting other. Yeah, exactly. We don't insult Steeler fans, guys, here. Nope, not going to go with that. We do not do politics here, guys. 13 sacks, 4 interceptions, and 8 forced fumbles so far this year. Elite numbers, Ian. Elite numbers in 3 games. One more decent game, even though he has 1 sack, he's player of the month. He's defensive player of the month. Anybody else think TJ Watt is not defensive player of the month? He is definitely defensive player of the month. It's a Roberts? Yeah, the Roberts always go at it here, Zach. And we thought Tim Burrow was coach, but he's not. He's not coach. CJ Stroud has yet to throw a pick. Do the Steelers stop that streak? I said that earlier at the top of the show. We stopped Jimmy Garoppolo's never been sacked streak by getting him on the ground 4 times. I think this is a situation. And let me quickly just see Houston's schedule, because I don't think they've seen a decent defense yet. Schedule. See more. They played the Colts. They played the Saints. They played the Ravens. Ravens are a good defense. Ravens should have got after him and put him on the ground. I know CJ Stroud hasn't gotten sacked, but when I saw their stats, it looked like they had 11 sacks against them. So I didn't know if CJ Stroud played in all games or has done that, but you're right. CJ Stroud definitely is the guy we've got to try to pick off He's a young quarterback. Steelers defensive schemes usually do very well against young quarterbacks, but he's an athletic kid. He's going to be a tough guy to catch. Tough guy to catch. I love real Steeler fans, and that's why I criticize fake ones. Yeah, we don't criticize any of them. We let everybody say their piece here on this show, guys. But the Texans have the best, the beast, Kendrick Green starting. That's going to be interesting, guys. Kendrick Green is their starting center. I want to see how Adams is going to do against him and how Benton is going to do against him. Going to be interesting to see. Watts as well, possibly doing some inside A-gap blitzes with those inside linebackers, where Green was always confused when that happened on our team, when somebody came up the A-gap that wasn't the defensive lineman. So, yes, I think we definitely get that. King runs a 4.6 40. Okay, so I thought he was around a 4.4 in his height, but thank you very much, Burrow. I appreciate you looking that up for me. I think the Steelers found their Casey Hampton in Keanu Benton. He did excellent so far. Yes, he has, Ian. He actually has. What are your thoughts on Joey Porter Jr. so far? So far, Michael, I love what I see out of him. He's a long, rangy, competitive man press corner. And that is something we don't have. And we've never had. Not somebody as long and rangy as he is. You don't have to run a 4.4, a sub 4.4 40 when you're 6'4" and long arms, because you're making up that extra 3/10 with your arm reach. That's the difference, guys. It's body style and body composition on some of these guys. And Joey Porter Jr. is a large man. 2 big plays last week. One stopped the third down conversion. The previous week, one stopped the third down conversion. The other one ended the game on 4th down. And didn't see as much this week. Not sure about the snaps. I didn't really dig into his game film this week, but I like what I see out of him. I like also what I saw out of Trice in the preseason. I'm hoping he gets back, because if we end up having Porter and Trice as our edges, 2 huge, tall guys, that would be immensely awesome to watch. Having 2 tall, huge, rangy corners on the outside edge against guys like Chase in our division. Flowers now coming up in our division, looking good for the Ravens. Rookie Flowers. Finally, I think they drafted a wide receiver that's going to stick. Yoder, welcome back to the show. Still celebrating our Steelers' big win on Sunday night. Heck yeah. I actually went live. Guys, away games, if it's an away game and I'm at home, I'll go live after the show. We'll talk for an hour. We'll get the let out. But yeah, I've done that for the away game, at least this year, both of the home games. I think I did it for the preseason games too. This year, but for the home games, I'm going to be at the game. Hi, Honey Project. Try to leave Robert C alone. Yeah, you guys don't have to keep running on each other. Show John Mahlers, welcome to the show. Also gets the defensive backs backed off the line of scrimmage. Great. And what's that? Yes, I'll be there cheering them on with the team honoring JJ this week. Tickets were steep. Were they? I'm surprised. So, that's cool. So they're honoring JJ Watt in the stadium. TJ's going to be playing. Oh man, that's just like a subtle way to get TJ on his game. Like, as if he's not already on his game for a game that his brother's being honored at. You think he's not going to want to go sick house off? That's awesome. That is awesome. But thanks for shelling out for that. I know you'll be in there pretty quick as well. Nico Collins and Tank Dell are both good weapons at wide receiver. Are they both playing for Houston too for this game? Not up on who all their players are, but it's going to be nice to see those guys if they are playing. And Green is starting at left guard, not at center. Thank you very much, Robert, for correcting us on that. We'll see him at left guard. That will be coming up. Okunjobi possibly will be playing that slot, but we actually had Liao in that spot last week. It looked like Leo was playing the spot there for Hayward. All right, going back over to Instagram, grab some of these questions, guys. Thanks for bearing with us. Cord, offensive line still getting out physical thoughts. Not last game. Last game, we were a much more physical team. We outrushed them significantly, especially since they have a good running back that we all know. Watt and Highsmith can really cause issues this week. I hope so, G. I hope so. They're the best bookends in the league, in my opinion. Absolutely best bookends in the league. Plus, you have Golden and Nick Herbig coming off the bench. This is going to be a really difficult situation for any team to try to scheme against all four of our outside linebackers. And it means TJ and Highsmith are going to be fresh going into the fourth. That's important. Important. Gee, Ravens suck, but that's just me. I live in Ravens territory. Of course, I've got to be on the board with that. Fire Canada. We're contenders. Right, Ja? I hear that. I hear that. All right, I'm caught up on Instagram. Back on over to the other formats. What we got here? John, since 1969, I have been a Steelers fan. That was a good year to start coming in. That's the same year I think Chuck Noll got hired. And Mean Joe Green got drafted. So that's a good year to become a Steeler fan. What's that? Who are you barking at? You were outside. You're wet. My cat is soaking wet. And now she's sneezing. Of course you're sneezing. You're outside in the rain, you dummy. She's a Bengals fan. What do you expect? Not smart enough to come in from the rain. I know Instagram gets good looks at her every once in a while. You can see her head pop up here on the other platforms. Larry, welcome to the show. Good to see Facebook on here again, guys. It's been too long. I'm sorry. I've been screwing that up. I've been putting out in the wrong links. So now I'm in the right spot. Thank you very much to our editor and commander in chief, second in commander in chief, Brandon Wallace, for making sure I got the correct link. Do you think Desmond King finally sees action this week? Fingers freaking crossed, Larry. I want to see as many people out there helping out Wallace and Peterson as we can. Peterson nearly played the entire game. Wallace, I know he had his tough moments, but he came through in the clutch when it mattered. 2 interceptions. Peterson with an interception. These guys are playing well. And the reason why they're getting interceptions is because we're getting pressure. This is a pressure team. Team is back to leading the league in sacks like we're used to. This continues this year. We're going to be in it. We're going to be in it for not only for win the division, might even pull off the AFC here. We'll have to see. Robert C. Nico and Tank are 10th and 11th in receiving yards. Wow. Wow. Yep. We'll have to see if Tank can stay healthy. That was my only issue with Tank was his size. Love seeing those numbers. Keep up those numbers and keep doing well, guys. Houston Cougars. You know, Robert's always pimping his hometown Cougars when he jumps on. Yoder, I love our black and gold. I've been a fan since the 75-76 seasons, whichever one ended with Super Bowl 10. Awesome. Well, I was born into being a Steeler fan, 1974. I was immaculately conceived after the Immaculate Reception. No, I was born the year after that. But I've been alive for all the Super Bowls. I was the good luck charm that they needed to get that first one against the Purple People Eaters. Tim Burrow, I heard your boy Kendrick G did not have any major problems when Texans looked at him, but love Nenton punishing Green. Yeah, Benton. I love to see Benton punishing Green too, my friend. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I know how to speak autofill. Yep, Benton on Green is a Steelers win. Exactly. I'm gonna love watching that matchup this weekend, and I know you are too, Tim Burrow. Ian, if you had to call the plays, what plays would you call? There's things that are working on this team that I like. I like the getting Kenny Pickett out of the edge, waggle plays, moving the pocket. Always love those plays. I like moving the pocket and then throwing screen opposite, which we haven't done yet this year. I also like running counter runs, starting the defense running one way, cutting it up to the right, or starting it left and then cutting back to the right, hitting the hole, and pulling guards, which we have not done yet this year. I've been watching for it. We have 2 athletic guards on this team. Both are able to pull. We have not run a guard pull this season. So yes, pulling a guard is something I definitely want to see coming up here shortly. As far as for pass scheming, we got to create route concepts to get people open. We don't run a whole lot of crosses. We don't run a whole lot of drags across the center of the field. We don't run a whole lot of slants. Start running them. Those are like gut punches in a boxing match. Counter draw, counter run, slant. Hitch inside. 5-yard drag. We got athletic players. You get Austin on a 5-yard drag, he can break it. It's like what we used to do with Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown used to be run those. He and Sanders, when they were on the team together, we'd have Wallace going deep. We'd have Sanders and crossing in front. One of them running a drags wide open. That's the type of route concepts I want to see. Absolutely want to see. But I was a wide receiver. I mean, those are the types of things I can see easily. We do a lot of verticals on this team. Coming back. You guys see me? I'm back. Am I back? I think I'm back. Internet connection problems. Sorry about that. Looks like I'm completely lost over here on the other side. I had to switch my my Wi-Fi feed from the one side to the other. See if it'll work doing it on this end. Yep, let's see if we can swap over here on this one and see if I can pull up my Wi-Fi. But we're getting toward the end of the show anyway, so I'm not super upset about it yet. We'll see if it pops up. If not, it doesn't. But at least we're back up over here. John, offensively, the offensive line needs to run double team blocking, not zone blocking, aggressive play pushing, and the ball down the field to Austin and Pickens. That's what we started doing last game. At least that was noted by the broadcasters, and correctly so. But yes, we need to continue that. Ian would call multiple jet sweeps. Tim Burrows, Striker, last show you opposed that you oopsed that Max Stark played both left and right tackle. If I said guard instead of tackle, yeah, I know he's a left tackle. I've had him on the show. I talked to him many times. I know what he was. If I misspoke, I misspoke. But yes, he won the Super Bowl at 2 different positions, left tackle and right tackle. Play action passes over the middle to one of our tight ends. Would love to see that. Ian, yeah, that big slant they used with Pickens and Austin. Indeed. Yeah, I'm just going to cut this feed, guys, since it doesn't look like it's working. There we go. We're just going to end the video. Okay, that'll work over there on that side. So we're done. We're done on the Instagram side. Just you guys now. Just you guys. Just Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I know Twitter, we can't see your responses, but we can on Facebook. We can on YouTube. So jump over to our Facebook spot, www.facebook.com/SteelerNationCom. That's Steeler Nation with a C-O-M at the end. Our YouTube, youtube.com/Steeler Nation. Boom. Yoder, doesn't it put a smile on your face when all the people who doubt and disrespect our Steelers, when we prove all of them wrong once again? So far, this season isn't going the way I thought it was. It is win-loss wise. We've got a shot of going into the bye 5-1. And the way we started, I will frickin' take it. Because we did not play at all in any phase week 1. We played good in 2 phases in week 2 with special teams and defense. Offense still looked bad aside from that 71-yard play to Pickens. Week 3, all 3 were bad. Special teams killed it that game. Defense killed it that game. Offense started to score. 5 offensive drives ended in scores. So now that's at least 5 drives getting the scores. That's pretty much the average of the league of a good offense. 5 drives will end in scores. That's what we need, but we need them to start being touchdowns more than field goals, but we were not in the red zone yet. What's it like being in the red zone? I don't know. Have we been in the red zone yet this year? Maybe once. I don't know. I can't recall us ever being in the red zone now. I'm trying to think if the Cleveland game, if we were in the red zone. And then we ended up having to kick a field goal probably. But I don't think we scored a red zone touchdown. All of our touchdowns are long touchdowns. Unless we have a rushing touchdown that came in the red zone. You guys can color me correct if that's the case. We might have one rushing touchdown from the red zone. I think that's it. A few days ago, Max Stott said James Daniels was the man of the earth last year because he was always on the ground. I'll add Daniels was a well-grounded dude. Nice take. I like that, Tim Burrow. It's raining here, and I figured I lost my connection. Yeah, no, I actually lost mine. It's not raining. My internet's been spotty today. I reset the internet before I started my show to give myself the best possible chance of having a clear show. That was me. Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Going to Tay-Tay fans there in Kansas City. Bray, welcome to the show. Good to see you here again. Puts a huge smile on my face, Yoder. Love it when our boys show out. Definitely does. John Maulers, you cannot run crosses and slants with 8 men in the box. You can if you spread them out. You can still get the spreads because the 8s in the box have to shift outward, but you do make a good point. It is tougher to run it with 8 in the box. Exactly right. That is a good point, John. If the offense can be middle of the road, this team can win a lot of games. True. Definitely can. Because all we have to do, defense is going to hold them under 20. If it isn't a big turnover game, defense is going to hold you under 20. We had a lot of turnovers against San Francisco. That's why they scored over 20. If the offense isn't turning the ball over like last week, no chance of the other team scoring over 20. None. Zero. This well-paid defense needs to win those games for us. James Daniels, a down-to-earth guy last year, but Freiermuth's been kneeling and curling fetus position. No exaggeration. Giving up before play is over. Muth should be used strictly as a pass catcher. I don't know if I agree with that stance yet, Robert. I will keep my eye on that for future games. Brian Davis. Wow, look at this guy. Out of hibernation. We missed you, buddy. Thank you, Brian Davis. Great to see you again. I am sorry that I was in the wrong studio for my first 4 or 5 of these this year because I've been doing it off of my own StreamYard and not the Steeler Nation StreamYard. Now I am properly in the correct place. So all of my Facebook friends will be here. Facebook friends, Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. That's the time I will always run my show. We're usually on for about an hour. If the conversation gets there, it can go up to about an hour 45. Hour and a half is about as long as I'll go. But an hour definitely will always happen on these shows, minus weird things. But Facebook is back in the house. Put it down on your calendars. Stryker Inside Slant, the live Q&A Steeler Nation show, live Tuesdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Set your calendars, set your clocks. I'll see you there. Dean Hatch, time for Peasy to do his thing. Can't wait for Peasy 2 to get in there and become. I actually tweeted out, and I didn't tweet it out, but put it on the thread for the Steeler Nation writers, which we're all part of. We've got a group me chat. Threw it on the chat when Wallace got banged up. I'm like, I chatted. I said, the Peasy era, Joey Porter era is about to begin. He was only out for a play, came back, got another interception, sealed the game. So I'm not upset that Wallace came back, but it's going to probably take an injury before we say it's your turn to hand the keys over to him. Because right now he's only coming in dime situation. Still get my voice back from screaming at the screen. Those horrible calls. 2-point conversion call. Holy crap, what a bad call. I think the Steelers have a rushing touchdown. Don't have a rushing touchdown yet this year. Let me look up for the Steelers stats, because I did have that open too. Boom. Offense. That's passing. We'll go rushing. Look down to Steelers. Which one's touchdowns? Touchdowns, that column. You're right. 0 rushing touchdowns on the season. 3 games in the books. 201 yards rushing. No touchdowns. That ranks us at 3rd worst. We're the 30th ranked rushing offense in the league. Gotta get better. Especially with the way this team is built. Have to get better than 30th in the league in rushing attack. Bray, I think Dirty Dan Moore gets a bad rep. He is actually pretty good. He has been up against the absolute best in the game and has only given up a couple of sacks. He's only given up 1 that I've seen. Crosby. I think Crosby's the only one. Bosa didn't get 1 on him. And Garrett never gets 1 on him for some reason. Like, he owns Garrett. Moore is the reason why Myles Garrett doesn't get Defensive Player of the Year awards. And TJ Watt does. He helps TJ Watt gets Defensive Player of the Year awards because he can't do anything against us. Scott Punswick, welcome back, man. Good to see you, man. It's been a year. I missed this show. So glad to be back. So glad to have my Facebook heads back as well. Absolutely love it. John DeMar, when will Broderick Jones see some time? In my opinion, John, when one of the other tackles goes down with an injury. So if Moore goes down with an injury, gets banged up, or if Chooks goes down with an injury, that's the only time I think we are going to see him. Until that happens, we're going to be waiting on the rookie. And honestly, like I said it, this was our best draft. In our draft, I said it on the draft show. You guys know I do the draft show. I'm live the entire draft. Half hour before each draft day, I stay on the air up through the end of each draft, extra hour on day 3 to get all the undrafted rookie free agents. I said it on draft day. We drafted depth positions because Wydell and Khan filled the team up and was deep going into the draft. Heck, we had Raven Leclerc as a tackle, a veteran tackle that we picked up, and we cut him because we drafted Jones. It's like we were thick everywhere. We had a lot of good players all up and down this board, and we ended up not even drafting an inside linebacker because we picked so many up in free agency. We're not using Nick Herbig, an inside linebacker. We're using an outside linebacker. Why? Because he's sick off the edge. He's got multiple moves. He's got one of the higher ceilings for a drafted outside linebacker that I've seen us have just from his game film. And this is a guy we got in the 3rd round. 3rd round or 4th round? 4th round. 4th round. 4th round. 4th round. We got him in the 4th round. I couldn't believe he was there. His game film looked better than Highsmith's, and we got him in the 2nd. His game film was better than TJ Watt's. TJ Watt only had 1 year, really, when he was doing it. So to me, he has a higher ceiling than those guys. Who knows? Or definitely a higher floor. Sorry, I meant higher floor, not necessarily a higher ceiling. Higher floor, better film coming in the league than those guys. John Ballard says, a high school football coach, each game is a new scheme has to be made. You're right. And we're going up against a team now that we have to scheme against a rookie quarterback who's athletic. Got to see how their offense is looking too here. Let me go check out their offense quickly. Just to see how Texans, we're the 3rd worst rushing attack in the league. Texans are the 5th worst rushing attack in the league by 9 yards. They have 9 more yards on us. They're worse in yards per carry because evidently they've had more rushing attempts, but they at least have a touchdown on the ground. Yeah, the only teams without touchdowns are the 3 worst rushing teams in the league: the Raiders, Vikings, Steelers. 1, 2, and 3. Boom, boom, boom. So let's see the passing attack here, at least for yards, because it's still pretty even. Nobody's had a bye yet. We want to see where the Texans are. Want to see where we are. Okay, we're in middle 3rd. Not horrible. Not horrible. 728, 789 yards. We're 789. We are okay. Yeah. We have an extra yard over. 1 more yard passing. We have more passing yards than anybody else in our division, but we're middle of the pack. Houston actually has more passing yards, significantly more passing yards. It looks like they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th in the league in passing yardage. 4 touchdowns on the season, no interceptions. Though they have been sacked 11 times. Right? Is that correct? Yeah, they've been sacked 11 times. So we can get them on the ground. We can get them in pressure situations. This defense is made to pressure quarterbacks. That's just the way this defense is built. And when you can pressure quarterbacks, doesn't matter how good they are, they're going to make mistakes. We saw that with Jimmy G. Didn't really get to see it with Brock Purdy too much. We didn't get as much pressure on him, but TJ Watt did have 3 sacks, forced a fumble. Should have been forced 2 fumbles. But that's the way the cookie crumbles on the fumbles. Ian White, some tight end crosses might open up some more catches for Muth and Washington. Exactly. I'd like to see them both go out for patterns. Because on Freiermuth's play where he ran the flag route, 26 yards out, Washington actually stayed in the block on the same play. So that gave Muth time to get open, had his man beat, and that was a beautiful ball by Kenny because he had a step or two on a guy. But Kenny threw a beautiful, perfect ball that was very easy for Freiermuth to come down with. Bray, we should work Broderick out at right as well. There's been talk about that, and this is something that actually gets my goat a bit here, Bray, is Morse came out and said, yeah, Jones, I think he might make a better right tackle. And then the week after, this was before the season started. Then the week after, Jones is like, yeah, I think he'd be good at right tackle. And it drove me nuts. You don't go move up in the first round to draft a right tackle at that size. You move up in the first round to draft a left tackle and to draft your perennial, decade-long left tackle who's going to be there to protect your quarterback's blind side for the next decade. That's why we invested in you, Jones. Not to be a right tackle. Be a left tackle. Have a left tackle mindset. I'm not sure about his mindset yet. Every year, shuts him down. He more definitely does. Timburo, Stryker, you're a wide receiver. You love good pattern running. DJ is one of the best. I get it. I love DJ because his elusive escapability after the catch. You know, I find his drops make him less than great. And I see that. Though his drop numbers are skewed for people thinking it was very high that 1 year, atrocious the 1 year. After that, he's been better. He made a Pro Bowl. He's been better than Hill. Less drops than Hill. Less drops than Cooper Kupp. The year that Cooper Kupp was all worldwide receiver. Less drops than Cooper Kupp that year. Flat out. We're harder on our people if they drop passes from here. Because we're used to AB and we're used to Ward being our ex receivers that never put the ball on the ground. Rarely. Brian Davis, Godwin, Igwebuike, elevated hope. He works out, very talented back. Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do as well. Draft show is awesome. Thank you, Cooley. It's one of the rare treats of Steeler Nation. Watch me get progressively drunk on day 3. Bernie Mikulski. Hey, Stryker, Kenny look better. Bring on the Ratbirds. We got one more. I want to see Kenny have a preseason game here against Houston where he gets some time and is able to put together a decent game against Houston. I want to check out Houston's defense now that we checked out their offense. I want to see their passing defense right now currently and where they rank. First for yardage, I guess I'll go by yardage. And we'll go for worst at the highest. Steelers are worse than they are for letting up yards, but they're not far off. Steelers let up 706 total yards so far this year, 670 for the Texans. Texans, looks like they've let up 2 touchdowns in the air, have 2 interceptions. Steelers let up 5 touchdowns in the air, have 4 interceptions. And sack-wise, Houston only has 4 sacks. Finally, we're going to see a team that does not pressure well. That's going to give Kenny time. I am now excited about Kenny Pickett playing in this game with time to get some reps, get some confidence going into that divisional game against the Ravens this upcoming week. That is right. You did, Stryker, all 3 days of draft. You had to be exhausted. And last year was the first year I was never off the air. I was on the air the entire time. Other times, like I'll break in the air, run upstairs, grab food. Family did a great job bringing me food. I always have a cooler next to me as well for drinks, so I'm never dehydrated. We won't talk about me having or not having a portable bathroom. That's for another time. Brian Davis, draft was great, but Branch was a missed opportunity big time. Branch. Oh, yeah, picking up the safety. I get it. We were, Brian, on the show. I mean, we had D. Gray was on our show, former lineman. We also had, who was the other lineman that was on our show? Oh, why am I, Kendall Simmons? Was it Kendall Simmons on our show? I forget who was on the show. I know I have all the breakdowns over on YouTube. I got their reactions too for what their thoughts were on Broderick Jones. When earlier in the show they weren't as happy about him, and then when we drafted him, they kind of changed their tune a little bit. But still, great to have those guys on the show. Branch, we were all expecting Branch to be the pick. He was there. We thought we were going to take him. Honestly, thought we were going to take him. And I guess he's having a good year right now so far with New England because they were the ones that swapped with us and they got their guy. Robert C. Birdie, they love to deal with the Texans first. Oh, yes, we have to deal with the Texans first. Definitely do. Tim Burrow, bizarrely, Steelers 3-way tie in the division. Number 1 AFC champ. 2, 3, 4. Odder as Steelers would be second seed in the playoffs if played now. Isn't that crazy? Strange days indeed. John Lennon, typo, repeat myself. That's fine, Tim Burrow. That's definitely it. Yeah. And strange, somebody pointed out, I thought it might have been you too on the after show, after the game, that we are tied for first in the division with 3 teams. None of them are Cincinnati. That is something I would not have said would have even been possible week 3 of you saying that, because we know we at least have 1 loss if we're tied with 2 other teams having to play another divisional winner. Well, not necessarily. I guess we could have been undefeated, and the other 2 teams could have been undefeated. Who knows? Thomas, we need to pass more. That should be open run game, and we should use both running backs. Yeah, I'd like to see both running backs in there too, Thomas. Brian, so on a personal note, do you have a beard oil sponsor? Because that thing is looking epic with the sides all shaped up. Thank you so much, my friends. I just do the beard trimming myself. I pluck on the upper sides because every once in a while I'll get some random stray hairs on that part, but I don't like doing the shave thing there because I think it grows in weird, so I just pluck. I do use a beard moisturizer in the shower. I have to run upstairs and grab it. I'll tell you what it is next time, Brian, so you can use it as well. I see you have a great beard in your avatar as well, my friend. Robert, Stroud has not seen much pressure the last 2 weeks. Game 1 against the Ravens, he was not as good when he had to deal with that pass rush. That was really the only pass rush he had to see. Though he has been sacked 11 times according to these stats. So he is getting on the ground. Don't we have their number 1 corner from last year from Bray? Houston's number 1 corner, was that King? Was King in Houston last year? I'll have to check that out over here on the free agents list over here on Spotrac. Spotrac, however you want to say it. Let's call the whole thing off. Corners. Update. Because I know King was on here. I was looking at King. Well, we got Wallace. Wallace we had on our team last year, though. Oh, that's for this upcoming year? That's 2024. Yeah, I got to look at 2023. Update. Boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Yep, Patrick Peterson was from Minnesota. We got him. Where was King? I don't see King on this board. Did he just get flat out cut? Must be King. Yep, Desmond King. Yeah, you're right. Desmond King was with Houston. Yep, you were correct. You're correct, Bray. Thank you very much for that insight. Yeah, King. Yep, it was King. Lots of emoji on the tackle. Dan Moore doing okay. Yeah. Steelers, a real problem is 32nd run D and 30th run game rank. Yes. Is opposite the actual Steelers standard. At least we finally stopped the bleeding last game. Should continue this week with a bad rushing attack in Houston and a poor rushing defense. Our numbers should get a little bit closer this week. Brian Davis. Yes, I was with you guys all 3 days. You know that. D was great. Trey Essex. That's right. Trey was on there too. I love Trey Essex. Thank you. was amazing on your show. Love Trey. I'll have Trey on my show anytime he wants to be on there. Same thing with Zach Banner. Zach, I love you. Will always love you, my friend. And you always got a spot next to me on my show, my friend. Yoder, getting to the end of the show, guys. We're past the hour mark. Get in your last comments here. TJ Watt, along with all other Steelers defenders, will absolutely introduce themselves to CJ Stroud all game long on Sunday. Love to see that. Love to see that. I'd love to see them swap TJ Watt and or just have TJ run like a stunt and come up Kendrick Green's hole. I would love to see that. Holy crap. We'll have to see if that happens. P.S. We agree, Stryker, that Broderick should not be right tackle long-term, but he's better than the luckiest guy to make the team, who seems like a great guy, by the way. Better to have Jones temporary right tackle. Yeah, well, if it's a temporary thing, I'm fine with that. But problem is, it's that kind of like, I think that derailed Dotson's career. Kevin Dotson was a right guard all of high school, all of college, Louisiana Lafayette, Raging Cajuns. Was a All-American at right guard. Come to our team, for some reason, we never even tried him at right guard. We had old, ancient veterans we kept bringing in at right guard that can only play right guard. And his best game was the game that DeCastro was hurt, and he came in his rookie season to play right guard, and he got like a PFF's best grade for a offensive player that year. Phenomenal right guard play. I don't know if the team that he went to, if they chose to put him at right guard, but if they did the right thing, because he's a right guard. He's been playing opposite our entire time. Good night, Ian. You have a great night, my friend. Always glad to hear from you, my friend. Robert, you want TJ in Green's hole? Yes. I want to see TJ maul Green. Green will just look, if TJ touched Green, he just looked confused. Either way, Highsmith's going to eat him up. Highsmith and Benton are going to eat him up. Yum, 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 yum. Getting it. Might be Nick. I'm going to call it. Nick Herbig coming in to spell Highsmith, getting his first sack this week on Green's side. Tamburo, luckiest guy make the team. Our backup right tackle, but Gunner and a couple no-name defensive back now on our 53 are luckier. I don't know, like Pierre is playing special teams. Trying to think of guys that aren't getting we have 2 inside corners and 4 outside corners on the roster. And that's our 2 outside starters, Peterson and Wallace. You got Porter and what you call it behind him? Porter and Pierre behind him. And then they had King as an extra because you have Isaac and you have I got the roster right here. Starts with an S. Is it Simmons? Why am I not remembering his damn name? Steelers, there it is. Corners. Because King's the extra on the Sullivan. Yeah, Sullivan and Isaac both play slot. King can play slot or outside. So I just like him starting to get worked into this team and starting to get some play and hopefully some more. So right now we're playing with more corners than we normally have on our roster. Great show, Stryker. Thank you so much, Robert C. Guys, that's all the time we've got today for Strikers Inside Slant. Hi, Kendall Simmons mentioned. Yeah, we love Kendall Simmons on this show too. He's been on our show a couple times. That's all the time we got on Strikers Inside Slant. Guys, be sure to come over to SteelerNation.com. Awesome. It's the place to get all your Steeler news, guys. All your great Steeler news, SteelerNation.com. Follow them on Twitter, X now, whatever the hell it's called, at Steeler Nation. The L is an I for some reason, a capital I. And on Facebook and Instagram at SteelerNation.com. You can follow me at SN Stryker on the TikToks, on the X, on the Instagram. I'll start posting stuff. I've been pretty lacking this far. I don't know why, but I'll get up there. And guys, we got our football forum. A lot of these football heads right here. Zach's been up here. Robert C's Cooley. He's a moderator over there. Thinks a bit highly of himself, but he's a good dude. Chow Chow Dad. I know we see him over there as well. Slash and all those good heads. Come on over to SteelerNation.com. Click on the forum button. Our football forum has the best minds in football. We talk all the teams. We talk about a lot of strategy. It's just a great place to go and share opinions. Really, really is. SteelerNation.com football forum. I'm over there. I post a Striker. I'm easy to find there as well. But that's all the time we have here for Strikers Inside Slant. Thank you all Sullivan. Thank you all so much, guys, for being part of my show, for your show. Really appreciate it. You too, Debbie Dickerson, because it's going to be Striker, Steeler Nation Striker, and Debbie Dixon rooting along with you as always. Go Steelers!